One Gospel, version 2, part 79. Jesus heals an epileptic boy. Matthew 17:14 through 21, Mark 9:14 through 29, Luke 9:37 through 45. And it came to pass on the next day, when they came down from the mountain to the disciples, he saw a great multitude around them, and the scribes disputing with them. And immediately all the multitude, when they saw him, were amazed, and running to him, greeted him. And he asked the scribes, "What are you disputing with them?" And behold, a man from out of the multitude came to him, kneeling down to him, cried out, answered, and said, "Lord, teacher, I implore you, have mercy on my son, because he is my only child, an epileptic, and suffers miserably. And behold, I brought my son to you, who has a mute spirit, and wherever he seizes him, he tears through him, and he suddenly cries out, and it convulses him with foaming, and he gnashes his teeth and becomes rigid. For he often falls into the fire, and often into the water, and it departs from him with great difficulty, bruising him. And I brought him to your disciples, and I implored your disciples that they should cast him out, and they could not heal him." And Yeshua answered him and said, "O faithless and perverse generation, until when shall I be with you? And until when shall I bear with you? Bring your son here to me." And they brought him to him. And when he saw him, as he was still coming, immediately the spirit threw him down and convulsed him, and he fell on the ground, wallowing and foaming. And he asked his father, "How long has this been happening to him?" And he said, "From childhood, and often has cast him into fire and into water in order to destroy him. But if you can do anything, have compassion on us and help us." And Yeshua said to him, "If you can believe, all things are possible to the one who believes." And immediately the father of the child cried out and said with tears, "Lord, I believe. Help my unbelief." And when Yeshua saw that the multitude came running together, Yeshua rebuked the unclean spirit, saying to it, "Mute and deaf spirit, I command you, come forth out of him and enter into him no more." And it cried and convulsed him greatly, and he came forth out of him. And he became like a dead one, so that many said, "He's dead." And Yeshua took him by the hand and lifted him up, and he arose. And he gave him back to his father, and the child was healed from that hour. And they were all amazed at the greatness of God. And while everyone marveled at all these things which Yeshua did, he said to his disciples, "Let these sayings sink down into your ears. For the Son of Man shall be delivered into the hands of men." But they did not understand this saying, and it was hidden from them, so that they did not perceive it. And they were afraid to ask him concerning this saying. And when he had come into the house, then his disciples came to Yeshua privately and asked him, "Why could we not cast him out?" And Yeshua said to him, "Because of your unbelief. For truly I say to you, if you have faith like a grain of mustard, you shall say to this mountain, 'Depart here to that place,' and it shall depart. And nothing shall be impossible for you. But by nothing can this kind go forth out, except by prayer and fasting."